While 25% of the food in the U.S. is wasted, 11% of households experience hunger. And while hunger is a problem facing those in need, so too is poor nutrition. Mother Hubbard's Cupboard works to alleviate the effects of poverty by providing the healthiest foods available and empowering patrons by offering them a nutritious selection of food items, running on the honor system, using a client choice model, and treating all involved with dignity and respect.
I ended up getting sick and was on chemotherapy, and my husband works, but it's just not enough to suffice, and we pretty much made ends meet for about a year on our own, and we just didn't know what else to do. We came here one time before, and everybody was really nice. It was actually easier than I thought it'd be, and it's hard, coming in and asking for help, and looking at it, you never really think that you're going to be in that situation until you're there, and it's like you're glad that somebody's there to help out.
We have 4 kids, me and my husband, and this is a great way to supplement our weekly groceries. We're right above the limit for food stamps, so any little bit helps.
I had 2 small children. It was 1998. We had known about Hoosier Hills Food Bank and the great resources that they had there. We wanted to get food out to lower income families with small children and nursing mothers and pregnant women. So we decided to start collecting food and distributing it to families here in our community.
I had in my mind that food banks were canned foods and white bread, and I just did not expect this array of organic food and fresh produce and things that people could really use.
It's to be able to go and get good quality food for people who are in low income brackets is a really nice thing.
I just like the principle of the idea that a lot of this food really might go to waste if we didn't have a way to give it out.
It's pretty ridiculous in a country as rich as ours how much food is thrown away, and yet how many people are poor and are in need of food, but the connection between the two problems isn't really being bridged, and Mother Hubbard's is doing that.
The Cupboard focuses on volunteerism as a way to empower our patrons and build community. Volunteers work in the pantry, shop at the Hoosier Hills Food Bank, and maintain our gardens. Most of our volunteers are also food pantry patrons, which helps ensure the pantry is user-friendly and egalitarian. This allows patrons to take a leadership role in an organization that has helped them.
Well, I started out being a customer here. I'm a senior citizen on pretty limited income, and the food that I've received here has really helped me make ends meet. One day I saw a sign on the wall, they needed people on Wednesday afternoon, and I thought that's a wonderful opportunity for me to give back something. Plus it gives me something nice to do on Wednesday afternoon. Nice people to come and work with, and feeling of accomplishment.
I started coming as a recipient. At that time my daughter was very young. Then when we moved into town, I felt like I could bring her and we could volunteer together. So she's just turned 5, so we've been volunteering for about a year and a half. When I was coming as just a recipient, I saw a lot of mothers bring their kids to volunteer, and I really wanted to do that because I really believe in community involvement, and I also wanted to be a good role model for my daughter, just in terms of helping people out and giving back to the community, and this is a really tangible way to do it. She's a really hard worker. She knows what she's doing when we come here, and she doesn't exactly understand poverty, but she understands that she's helping, and she's helping people who may not be as fortunate as her.
What I find 2 of the most inspiring and exciting things that happen at Mother Hubbard's Cupboard are the nutrition and garden education program, which I am lucky enough to get to work with. The nutrition program supports the idea that everyone in our community deserves to have access to healthy food. It's hard for everybody in this culture, let alone people that are lower income, to have access to really healthy, good whole foods. One of the really great things about the nutrition program is that we're able to offer classes to our patrons and volunteers, and sometimes to the community at large. The canning and jamming class is a huge success and really reconnects the attendees of the class to this basic form of preservation that not as many people are engaged in. So our goal is to empower people to reclaim what our grandparents knew about cooking with whole foods and foods fresh from the garden.
Mother Hubbard's Cupboard has had a gardening program for many years now, and aside from just growing food to bring to our pantry, our garden program really, it's educational. With our classes and our hands-on volunteer days, people really learn how to sow seeds and care for young plants and how to make really rich soil so they can grow incredibly nutritionally robust food. And so it's all of these hands-on experiences that enrich our patrons' lives and really gives them the skill set to lead healthier lives in the future.
We set about to set up a very different kind of food pantry. And one of the biggest things was to give people choice about the food they took.
The other thing that I really like is that we get to shop for ourselves. So I often pass by canned goods because I just don't really use them a lot in my cooking because I like to use fresh foods. So here I can just leave that for somebody else who's more interested in it.
Raising a teenager, you never know what they like and what they don't like. And she's always watching her diet and what she can eat. And she does like the soy products, and she likes the orange juice and not the junky food. And I could find it here better than I could at a store.
My son Noah, he's 8 now, and he was lactose intolerant. So we wanted to get a lot of soy products, which are pretty expensive. And so we were just like really thrilled to find like soy cheese and soy milk and soy ice cream even here, so we wouldn't have to spend extra money on the budget to get those things. And we could find them rather consistently and still can, really.
By keeping our services efficient and streamlined, we are able to distribute a high volume of rescued food to hundreds of people every day at a very low cost. Every dollar of support that the Cupboard receives has immediate impact in our community. Every year, the Cupboard distributes hundreds of thousands of pounds of food. Annually, that food has a retail value of over $1.6 million. The Cupboard only pays a fraction of that value. By design, the Cupboard's food pantry is able to leverage $1 to acquire $37 worth of food.
When we started the Cupboard, we were still on food stamps. We were still getting aid. And while government programs are excellent agencies that help a very wide range of people, it's also very difficult for a lot of people to be able to show those paycheck stubs, to show all your utility bills, to always be able to qualify is in itself a difficult thing to do.
Mother Hubbard's Cupboard is not quite as means tested as many other opportunities for people to get assistance. There's, the fact that it's an organization that will feed people that can't afford food as its kind of primary requirement was really important to me, because so many programs that try to assist the poor put such stringent regulations on who's considered poor.
I like it a lot, the trust that they put in you, because a lot of other places you have to give them A, B, C, and Z just to get one can of food. So, I really appreciate it.
As the face of hunger grows to include more of our neighbors who are elderly, youth, the working poor, and other disadvantaged populations, the need for the Cupboard services has increased exponentially in recent years. The Cupboard works hard to keep pace with growing client demand and continues to distribute more food to more people in need every year.
It's really clear to me, especially with new patrons, the tremendous amount of relief it is to be able to come somewhere and be able to just think a little bit less about one part of their weekly budget, and on top of that, to be able to have access to such high quality foods.
Bloomington is the kind of town that will take care of its own because of institutions like Mother Hubbard's Cupboard.